the My 12 market is the largest fruit and vegetable market in West Africa. This is located in Lagos. I don't know if you are aware and you know that market. I've been there. Every day we have 10,000 traders, 10,000 traders per day who are trading fruit and vegetable in that market. And there is no place there is a place to storage their product.
Look at Nigeria currently. People are being driven away from their farm. So which means production in Nigeria is going to reduce the terms of agriculture.
We need to create an agency. The first ever or agency or an institution, let me call it an institution, related to the first minister or to the presidencies of the country.
But of course, there are still production going on. So let's focus on whether you are in Nigeria or in Ghana, in any other part of Africa, there are still production going on.
When you are bringing the raw material, you bring also at the same time the employment to create an industry. You give job to the youth. You create opportunity. Even the secondary product you said is useful. So you create lot of branch of other industry. This is what we can use also to create employment.
So hi everyone, and thank you for joining on in today's episode of the Obehi podcast. Today we are talking about something important related to business. The last time I was talking to Mr. Madi, who is joining us from Bologna, Italy. I live in Verona myself. So he's going to be talking about what he does, particularly within the area of refrigeration. That is his whole business. How that is important for Africa. Of course, if you understand Africa, now you know that Africa, there is a lot of heat there. So if somebody were to be interested, even in just ice cream as a business, it would be very, very important. I know, for example, a friend of mine in the Bahamas who is into ice cream franchising. So imagine that maybe you are in Lagos, you are in Dakar, or you are in Johannesburg, or in any other part of Africa where people are having a lot of heat, and you are producing ice cream. You can imagine what that can mean for you in terms of the growth that you will have. Of course, that will never work if you don't have a system of refrigeration. So that is why I'm really very passionate about the conversation that we're going to be having today. So, Mr. Madi, could you tell the people who you are? Let's start from there.
So thank you, Obehi, for this opportunity. Good morning to everyone there. So what say? You want to talk? You want to know who I am? I would like to talk about what I'm doing, because I think this is more important than who I am. But shortly, I'm Madi Sakande. I'm originally from Burkina Faso, living in Italy almost 28 years. I'm an entrepreneur in refrigeration sector, and I'm as well consultant for United Nations Agency and international expert in refrigeration sector. So refrigeration, as you said, is not only for ice cream. Just see in Africa, the average of post-average losses. This is very important because we cannot develop a continent without feeding people. Feeding the people should be the first challenge to overcome. And this challenge, up to nowadays, the cradle of humanity, that is the continent, the African continent, we still have this challenge because we don't develop refrigeration sector. Because with post-average losses is very, 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 very high. If you are used to travel across Africa, and I've been in more than 50% of African countries, the production are different, but the loss are more or less the same, depending on the country and the product. But the post-average losses are between 40 to 70%, depending on product and also in country. I've been in Nigeria 2 years ago. I even have opportunity to talk with Honorable Minister, Federal Minister of Agriculture. He told me that the post-average loss in terms of fruit and vegetable in Nigeria is 65%. You can imagine that we are producing and we are losing 55% of our production because we don't have a reliable cold chain. This is the real issue of our continent, that we are producing, we are losing our food stuff, and we import food in Africa. The cradle of humanity is at that place. We are still have nowadays where people are still dying because of the first disease of mankind, meaning hungry. We are still dying in Africa nowadays because we are not aware yet about the key role that refrigeration can play in terms of development. Development is not a big road. Development is not a big house. Development is not a building, a big buildings. Okay, development when you can feed all your population, and then the population can live from their own activity. Then you say this country is developing. Because if you are a country, African country, the average of the population, 80%, 80% of the population are living in rural areas. Because when you to see the big city as Lagos, or I don't know, Cairo, or wherever in the big Nairobi, Ouagadougou, you go there, you see a lot of people. It mean in the country are all the countries, all the people there, but it's representing only the 20% of the population, those who are living in the cities. The 80% of the population are living in rural area, and in the rural area, the main activity are three: agriculture, breeding, and fishing where you have water. And sometimes they become traders as well, because when we finish your production, they have to trade it when they are. But if you don't have reliable refrigeration, these activities are senseless. You produce, you lose the high quantity of your production. So